Hey, it's Matt Scannell from Vertical Horizon, and you're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
The brutally delicious podcast. The brutally delicious podcast. The brutally delicious podcast. The brutally delicious podcast.
Hello, Matt.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks so much for taking the time, man.
No worries. I was going to tell you as I was sitting here trying to think. I saw you guys. Man, this is going to date myself. 9 days Super Bowl weekend in Tampa at like Villa or some shit.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, that gig in Tampa, that's when I met Richard Marx for the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he was playing on one of the other stages. You know, they like closed the downtown area down and like different blocks, different stages, right? And yeah, Richard was playing, and Sean, our bass player, knew one of the guys who was playing with Richard, and I had been a huge fan of Richard's for forever. And he was like, you know, my buddy's playing with Richard. Do you want to go see him? And I was like, heck yeah. And so that's the night that I met him. That's crazy. That's cool.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I used to live in Tampa, and I was friends with the guys in 9 days and their road crew. So,
such good guys.
Yeah, we took them from that show. The next day, we took them from that show to my house to watch the Super Bowl because they were staying off the beaten path because it was all sold out for Super Bowl.
Sure, that's right. That's funny. I just saw the 9 days guys on the Creed cruise that we just did.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and they sound exactly. They probably sound better. I mean, they always sounded great, but they were just killing it. They sounded amazing.
What was that cruise like? Because I saw video here and there from it, but what was it like?
Man, you know, it was really fun. We had a great time. It's nice, you know, sometimes we can kind of slot in with some sort of heavier bands, or we can slot in with some maybe not quite as heavy bands, and we're never kind of not heavy enough or heavy enough, but somehow we kind of just find a space for ourselves. And it was really fun to do that, to do those cruises, because, you know, seeing Creed, you know, Mark Tremonti's a super talented guy and a very nice guy. And so, like, it was nice for me to see him. I had seen him play with Altered Bridge, but it had been years since we did something on VH1 once where they were there years and years and years ago. But it was cool to see them again. They sounded great. It was great to see Chris Daughtry. He sounded awesome. Yeah. Three Doors Down sounded great. And then, you know, I'm really, really, really dear friends with Emerson from Tonic. So whenever Tonic's playing, like, sign me up. And Brian from the Verve Pipe, we were basically like classmates at RCA back in the day. Right. It was really cool. And the kind of the most important thing from our perspective is the people on the cruise were so nice, like the attendees or whatever. Yeah. They're just really great, and they're appreciative. They love music, and, like, you know, it was awesome. We had both the cruises were great.
Yeah, I've done the 70,000 tons of metal one for the last, 11 years. I work press on it and stuff, and that's the vibe I get too. It's just such an awesome feel. Everybody's kind of just there and approachable.
Yeah.
And just no drama. No.
And it's kind of both. It's like people will come up and say hi to you and maybe say, you know, a few nice things, which is always lovely to hear. So you have all these great interactions, but they also kind of know that, like, you know, you're probably on your way to do something. So they're kind of like, you know, they're cool. Like, everybody was great, man. I had an awesome time. We had done the Rock Boat a number of years ago. And that was a lot of fun as well. So I feel like those cruises are actually they're really cool. And my favorite thing about it, I don't know if you feel this way, my favorite thing about it is, like, you just put your suitcase in the room and then your hotel room goes with you to the next gig. You know, it's like, I love that.
Yeah. 25 years now for the record.
Bonkers.
How does that happen? How did we get here? Like, can you imagine anything like that would happen?
Dude, I honestly, like, I know, I know that I was there for every step of the journey, right? So I can think back and think, well, yeah, that's it feels like it hasn't been that long, but I also know like once you start talking about numbers like 25, yeah, we're officially
Serious, right? I mean, because most
that's
people
for
are
real.
making 2 years in the music business, so it's kind of a
You're
testament to your fans and your music that here 25 years later, you're still relevant and going on tour.
that is like the key. You just nailed it. Like we have fans who continue to lift us up and carry us on this journey. Like 25 years later, we started the band in like 91, so it's even whatever that math is, 32 years or something like that. Like what? Like and I'm very conscious of the fact that we don't how do you say this, like we are not entitled to this career, right? This is a privilege. Like we this is a like every single opportunity that still comes our way is a gift. And like so to have any other attitude is insane to me. And unfortunately, I think we run into people sometimes who feel like they're kind of entitled, and that's just not my. I can't wrap my head around it. Like 25 years later, we're talking about a record that changed our lives. Like we are the luckiest people in the freaking world. Like
Right.
how is it that this is still going? It's a miracle.
What's it going to be like to get on this tour again? Because I mean, this is a good one, right? Gin Blossoms and
Yeah.
Toad the Wet Sprocket. That's like that
Man,
whole nut. I mean, that's like the whole
dude.
line. What's the word I'm looking for? A time capsule.
Well, yeah, that's a great time capsule. I mean, the thing that's so beautiful for both those bands is they've continued to have these flourishing careers for such a long period of time. We're friends with the guys in Gin Blossoms. I love those guys, and I'm excited to be able to spend half of our summer together. And I don't know the guys in Toad the Wet Sprocket, but I admire them, and I think they're incredibly talented. And we've had some interactions as we're sort of getting ready to go here, and they seem to be fantastic people. And I've heard amazing things about them from other people over the years. So yeah, it's just going to be fun. We're going to have an incredible time. The songs, like when I think about Gin Blossom songs and Toad the Wet Sprocket songs, like they've got so many amazing songs. Like what? And the fact that we get to be part of that, that's great. It's great.
That's awesome. And I imagine, because I go to shows now with my kids and whatever, maybe eventually grandkids, those Vertical Horizon shows are very much multi-generational, right?
Yeah, that's been a real revelation for us. You see the people who were probably there at the time when it was happening, and then you see people who weren't, and they're still coming to see us, so they were exposed somehow, whether through family or friends. And then you see families at the shows, right, where you've got the grandfather, the father, the kid, and they're all singing along, and you're like, what the heck, Yeah, it is. It's interesting, So to be completely like transparent, there was a moment where it was kind of a strange shift to go from being like, I love your music to my mom loves your music,
Right now, grandpa
to
music.
my grandpa loves your music, right? And it was kind of strange. And then you find that it's actually like the highest compliment. It's the best possible case scenario when you're getting new generations of people who enjoy your music. The alternative is grandpa loved you, but I think you kind of suck.
Right, because the alternative too is not listening at all, right? Vertical.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're not like some huge band. Like we have kind of like, I think of it as like our rung of the ladder, and there are plenty of people sort of up ahead of us in altitude, and that's fine because we've got a nice little spot. And there are plenty of bands down who kind of are on their climbing as best they can too. But we've got a thing, and like 25 years, 30 years on. I don't know how it happened, but
it's competition now, right? You're just you've got your spot, and you're just hanging on to that rung.
Dude, 100%. It's just being grateful for our spot. We've got a spot. our songs are played all around the world, and they resonate with people in their lives. Our music, to some extent, has been the soundtrack to a certain moment in a lot of people's lives, and that is just such a gift as someone who wrote these songs. Our music is part of their story. It's so as a result, they kind of, like I said, they carry us along.
Yes, and isn't it interesting, like how you said it, kind of music will take you right back to that. I mean, you hear the first three notes of your favorite song, and it takes you back like to where you were when you first heard it in the car at 17 with your girlfriend, or wherever, sitting in high school somewhere. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's the greatest. I mean, it's that and smell. I find those are two of the senses for me, even probably more than seeing things. Like when I hear Limelight by Rush, I am, Worcester, Massachusetts, driving on Salisbury Street with my buddy in his mom's Oldsmobile. No, everything's perfect. And then it's like when Limelight's over, you hit rewind, or you hit like the play button that flipped it around, or to the other side of the cassette. I mean, those are magical moments, right? Yeah, you're right.
So in the end, just to think about that then for a second, like Vertical Horizon is part of somebody's that, right? Somebody's putting that song in and going, oh yeah, I remember being whatever on the beach with my boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whatever.
Yes. Miracle. It's a miracle.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, we are so lucky. And it's been an awful lot of hard work. It's been a lot of commitment and to some degree sacrifice, but it's all, it is all worth it. Like just the fact that we're continuing, we continue to have the opportunities to sing songs, to play music. They call it playing music. They don't call it working music, right? It's playing music. Like, awesome.
I tell my son all the time, he's in the business in the EDM DJ sort of thing, and he's traveling around doing big shows everywhere. I just keep telling him, you got to just keep grinding, dude. Grind. This business ain't going to give you anything.
No, it doesn't. It's interesting. We had an experience, circling back to Everything You Want, the 25th anniversary. We had an experience when we signed with RCA of having a team of people who were really 100% invested in providing us an opportunity to possibly have some success. So, everybody from the president of the label, Bob Jameson, and Jack Rovner, and his vice president, down to not down to, but the people who were actually manufacturing the CDs and all that stuff. I mean, it was a group of people who were really pushing and pulling hard for us, right? And that was that was an incredible thing to experience. We had slogged it out, relatively speaking, for 7 or 8 years on the road, by ourselves with really no help at all. And yeah, you're right. The business isn't going to give you anything, but occasionally you'll find people who believe in you and kind of can help you on your journey. And that's very much that's what happened with Everything You Want. That's the reason we're here today talking. It's like because of that.
So what's next for Vertical Horizon then? Are you going to, after the summer, you've got more stuff in mind? Any new music or?
Yeah. So we're working on 2 records right now, 2 new records, and I hesitate. My output has not been as fruitful as I probably would have liked for it to have been in my career in terms of releasing records. But it is what it is. Like my process is my process, and it sort of takes as long as it takes. And the other thing is, honestly, like nowadays, nobody's buying records. You're only making records because you want to. You're only making records because you're compelled to. And fortunately, we're still compelled to. I'm still compelled to. And so say again?
I think that's an age or a age factor, right? Because I still listen to records. It's how we grew up, I think.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think you're absolutely right, and there are multiple generations that are younger than us who consume in much smaller snippets, and it yeah, it doesn't necessarily need to be a record. It also doesn't necessarily need to be a whole song. It can be even smaller than that. And that's totally cool. It's just not how I kind of was raised or came up and learned about music. I don't know when these records will be done, but they're things that we're working on, and it's nice to still feel compelled and inspired to create.
Right. And what about more tours, or you kind of?
Oh yeah, no, 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 man, no. The live shows are. Oh man, it's like Richard Marx and I talk about it all the time. It's like a shot of vitamins. It's like you go and you play a gig, and your body feels nourished, right? So I am fortunate to have a group of guys that surround me and sort of lift me up, and I try to do the same for them. These guys are tremendously talented people, and more importantly, are fantastic human beings. So we love going out and playing shows. We our schedule, we're kind of never off. We're just it's actually a nice balance. We tend to do sort of like generally speaking, we do sort of like long weekends, and so you never really are necessarily totally burnt out. Which we used to go out for 9 weeks at a time, or whatever, even longer. And you'd come back and you'd just sort of be a little bit of like a shell of your former self, and you'd have to kind of stitch yourself back together. And we don't live that way, and we don't need to live that way. And that's cool. I mean, but no, being off is not, it's not part of our ethos.
Right. There you go. That's good all the way. I mean, it's nice to see you still doing it, like I said, and being relevant, and and still playing good music. So.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, truthfully, like I don't ever think anymore about. It's kind of you to say the word relevant. I don't think about it anymore. There was a time when I was trying to write a hit, or think about how to stay in the current consciousness of the music world. And I don't even think about it anymore. It's more just about, hey, let's make music we love. Let's go out and play shows, and we'll play songs that people hopefully will want to hear. Songs that have proven themselves over time, and we'll also play some newer songs that we really believe in, and hopefully that will entice people to continue on our journey with us.
I think people connect anything when it's like organic like that, right? You're not forced.
Yeah.
You're not trying to I have to make this song for this group. When it's just, hey, this is me, I wrote this song, then it's very connectable, I think, from the fans' perspective.
Yeah, well, that's cool. That's cool to hear. I know I feel excited when I feel that energy coming from artists that I love. Right. And so I aspire to continue to do that. Myself. Frankly, it's the only way. I mean, otherwise you're just lying. Well, overstating. I feel like I'm just lying. And I learned a long time ago, fortunately, to believe in every word that you put on the page, or put into a vocal, because you're going to have to sing it 1,000 times, or if you're so, you know what I mean? And like if it's yeah, right. And if it's not real and you're not honest about it, you're just going to kind of resent it. And we do bump into people, I think, along the way whose maybe most famous work isn't work that they really love, or they felt kind of manipulated in some way by powers that be. And fortunately, that wasn't our experience at all with the Everything You Want record.
Awesome, Matt. That is all I had. I hope that wasn't too bad.
No, it's fantastic, dude. It's really nice to meet you and say hello. Thank you.
So